Taiwan. I'm Ethan Liu with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Businesses and services around the world have been thrown into chaos after U.S. tech giant Microsoft systems went down. Banks, news broadcasters, and airlines have all been affected by the outage, with plans grounded worldwide. It comes after Microsoft reported issues with its cloud storage system in the U.S. on Thursday evening. While Microsoft says its systems are now back online, many are still experiencing outages. A major hospital in Taipei and Taiwan's main international airport both reported system outages on Friday. Our reporter Joyce Sen has more on the extent of the problem.
Businesses around the world, from banks to airlines and even newscasters, are suffering from major IT outages. Here you're looking at images of planes grounded in the U.S. and Europe amid the cyber outage. And it's an issue that's also thrown airports in Hong Kong and Australia into disarray. Here, images of cash registers down in Australia. So really quite a widespread disruption across many corners of daily life. This is all due to a failure in Microsoft systems. The tech giant says that the outage happened around 6 p.m. on Thursday evening in the U.S., impacting its cloud storage systems. While it says it's back online now, many other areas around the world using Microsoft are now also experiencing problems, and that includes here in Taiwan, the Taoyuan International Airport. An airport rep told TaiwanPlus that check-in systems using Microsoft were indeed down on Friday, but that they are still working to calculate just how many airlines have been impacted. Some airlines have even resorted to manually checking in passengers, handwriting their tickets, causing a delay of averaging 1 to 2 hours. It's unclear at the moment whether other sectors have been impacted. This is still a developing situation as to how much this outage has hit Taiwan.
That was Joyce Sen reporting on the global Microsoft outage. Taiwan's economy is projected to grow by 3.8% in the third quarter, according to a think tank in Taipei. The Zhonghua Institution for Economic Research says it expects exports and advancing AI applications to drive this growth. Despite the optimistic outlook, shares in Taiwan took a beating after U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump accused Taiwan of stealing U.S. semiconductor business. That led to tech shares falling, including for chip-making giant TSMC, affecting overall market confidence.
台积电呢，这个全指股呢，它的这个卖压还是相当的沉重，那市场的信心呢已经受到了冲击了，所以呢，今天我们可以看到各类股呢几乎都是呈现弱势震荡，甚至于拉回来的走势。
Taiwan's Constitutional Court has put the brakes on several parts of recently passed legislative reforms. The suspended portions mostly deal with lawmakers' new investigative powers. In response, the main opposition Kuomintang, which pushed for the reforms, said the ruling shows the judicial independence is dead. The presidential office and cabinet has sought the court's interpretation of the reforms, saying they could violate the constitutional separation of powers. What is a historical site of injustice? Taiwan's government is continuing efforts to preserve and memorialize places where some of Taiwan's bloodiest moments took place. Proposed legislation would now prosecute those who attempt to damage them. Reese Ayers reports.
No one's sure exactly how many people were killed in Taiwan between February and May in 1947. Conservative estimates say 18,000. But the true number could be much higher. It all started here in this park in downtown Taipei, when an anti-government uprising was ruthlessly stamped out by Chiang Kai-shek's nationalist government. It remains one of the bloodiest and most defining moments in Taiwanese history. Now renamed the 228 Peace Memorial Park to commemorate the date it all started, this entire area serves as a reminder to Taiwan that the path to democracy was long and violent. Now, new legislation proposed by Taiwan's cabinet aims to preserve these so-called unjust sites.
国家对于不义遗址的重视，保存历史记忆，是了解真相、促进和解、实践转型正义的重要工程。
The new bill designates at least 42 such sites across Taiwan, with dozens more up for consideration. These areas would receive plaques like this one. The proposals also promise hefty fines and even prison sentences if anyone attempts to damage them. It's all part of a wider campaign by the current administration to pursue transitional justice. Just last week, the decades-old ceremonial changing of the guard at Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall was moved away from the former leader's statue, demonstrating a recognition of the bloody place he holds in Taiwanese history. If the law passes, these sites of historical injustice will preserve memories of some of Taiwan's darkest days to help ensure that they don't come again. Patrick Chen and Rees in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Taipei's current and previous mayors have both apologized over a child molestation scandal at a local kindergarten. But as Zhang Manchues reports, political hand-wringing hasn't led to a roadmap to stopping future predators.
我身为台北市长，要向这些受伤的孩子和家长致上歉意。
Taipei Mayor Jiang Wan'an bows to families left traumatized by a child molestation scandal at a downtown kindergarten. Over the course of several years, the son of the owner, employed as a teacher at the school, touched and filmed over 20 children. An initial investigation was dropped due to lack of evidence. Now, city officials face criticism they did too little, far too late. Taipei's previous mayor, Ko Wen-je, is among those feeling the heat, as it was during his term that the cases began.
一般去调查，你知道哈，也怕说哦大张旗鼓啊，会引起这个家长恐慌，或者是未审宣判。可是有时候也要保护这个小朋友，所以在两个当中应该怎么做会比较恰当哈？我觉得我们还是有很多改进的空间的哈。
There have also been concerns about media restrictions on revealing details of cases involving minors. These rules mean media outlets are afraid of blowing the whistle on scandals like this. The health minister has weighed in on this point.
儿童保护保障权益保障法的，其实我必须要说明，它其实是在报道时是要保障受害人，并不是保障加害人。
The health minister says he'll convene academics and media representatives to discuss changes to the rules. But there's still no roadmap for catching predators early and stopping scandals like this from happening. John Su and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Students from Hong Kong and Macau are increasingly choosing to build careers in Taiwan after graduation, partly thanks to changes to the system that determines who can stay. Zhang Manchues has this report as well.
Feng Suk-man visits a former professor with good news. She's found a job in Taiwan, and she's part of a trend. This Hong Kong native is one of a growing number of people from the city coming to study in Taiwan and staying after graduation. Labor Ministry data shows up to 30% of students who come to Taiwan from the Chinese territories of Hong Kong and Macau choose Taiwan as the launch point for their careers.
现在立马回去原本的原居地，就觉得好像有点可惜，所以就想说啊，留在这边试试，也许可能未来会留下来，还不知道。
The universities bringing in these students say that while Taiwan isn't perfect, it has its attractions.
台湾的薪水跟港澳比起来，其实相对来讲是比较低的，但是整个工作环境或者是生活的环境是比较 friendly 的，所以他们可能还可以缓冲一下。
There are a range of sectors that are especially popular with these students, from the service, retail, and hospitality sectors to ICT and medicine. And school job fairs make it possible to have a job lined up before graduation. But there's one more big reason why Hong Kong and Macau students are staying: changes to the point system that determines who can stay in Taiwan. Crackdowns on freedom have sparked a mass exodus of Hong Kongers in recent years. But nearby Taiwan hasn't been especially welcoming, with no refugee law and suspicions of Chinese spies. For students, though, the path to residency is clearer, and reforms have made it easier than ever to stay, with more ways to earn points.
实习的一个项目也可以采集，新增的就是如果有领奖学金的话，那配点20点，总分也从190点松绑到200点。
The government is especially keen to get students training as social workers and financial service providers to stay and fill much-needed positions as Taiwan's population ages and shrinks. Andy Xue and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Animal welfare supporters are demanding an end to offshore pigeon racing in Taiwan. Over 8,000 people have signed a petition against the practice of taking pigeons out to sea and releasing them en masse to fly back to land, sometimes over distances of over 300 kilometers. It's been reported that more than 98% of the birds never make it home. The Taiwan Bird Rescue Association says hundreds of thousands of pigeons die every year in races held for the purpose of gambling.
它是陆域的动物，它不应该在海上飞。那我们希望透过这一次的联署，可以推动，让大家知道，然后也让政府机关整个动起来。
Environmentalists are urging a rethink of a plan to set up a natural gas plant on Taiwan's northern coast. Gov't reports.
Activists say this underwater ecosystem is under threat. Taiwan's national power company Taipower plans to reclaim land here off the north coast, part of a project to convert an oil-fired power plant to natural gas. The economy minister says there's no alternative, but environmental groups say a rethink is urgently needed, and biologists agree.
大家看到上面有很多的小鱼，代表这个地方除了小鱼外，还有这些小鱼的大鱼。这里大概就是全台湾北部跟东北角地区大概最完整，也是目前保持最好的一个生态系统。
Activists warn that healthy, high-latitude coral around the planned site will be threatened, and they say other marine life could suffer as well.
结合世间填海造地的预定区域，其实是完完全全，不管是从2.0到3.0，其实是完完全全跟基隆市的水产动植物保育区完全重叠。
But Taipower says it's done its own environmental surveys of the area. It says it has a commitment to protecting the local ecology, and that critics of the scheme may be presenting a worst-case scenario.
台电本来就已经提到了，我们不会去破坏原来的生态嘛。但是如果因为这样子就去看到现在这么美，那就断定未来会变成怎么样？我觉得这有一点点以偏概全了啦。
The company says the project is essential for the country to maintain a reliable power supply, and that the switch to natural gas will cut down air pollution too. But these arguments aren't easing the standoff between the company and environmental groups worried about the site's future. James Lin and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
An outbreak of crown-of-thorns starfish is eating away at the coral ecosystem near Taiwan's outlying Pratas Island. Irene Ling looks at the scale of the emergency and how scientists are trying to control it.
These thorny starfish are causing massive damage to the coral ecosystem around Taiwan's outlying Pratas Island, located in the South China Sea.
我们判断这个已经发生超过1年了，这个珊瑚礁呢都已经吃过了，他们喜欢吃的几乎没有一个活的，剩下极少数，所以这个叫80%到90%死掉。
Crown-of-thorns starfish are native to the Indo-Pacific region. They're named after the toxin-tipped spikes that cover their bodies. These starfish have a voracious appetite almost exclusively for coral. That's what attained on their reputation. Each adult starfish can eat up to its size in coral per day. Not only do they eat a lot, there's also too many of them. Scientists in Taiwan have reported more than 1,200 starfish every 10,000 square meters, far beyond the acceptable range of 15 to 30. Coral expert Zheng Mingxiu says the crisis could spiral out of control and have an even worse effect than climate change.
习惯海鲜的破坏比白化还要严重好几倍。习惯海鲜吃过的地方，它说是10年以上很难再生。
Scientists say the outbreak now stretches 4 kilometers off the coast of Pratas Island, and the population is still expanding. With summer the starfish spawning season and no ocean diving in the winter, it's now a race against time to keep the outbreak from spreading further.
他们大概目前做法上也会参考郑老师的一个建议，他们会号召大概10几个人出去，也许利用个10天的时间了。
The team has been picking up the starfish one by one with tongues and using a specialized syringe to inject them with acid. The last mission removed only a small number of the crown-of-thorns population, about 1,800. As the outbreak continues to spread, scientists are calling for more awareness and resources to avert a coral crisis before it's too late. Chris Ma and Irene Lin for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally, check out the Bronx Zoo in New York City, welcoming a rare tree kangaroo joey. I'm Ethan Liu. Take care, and I'll see you next time.